Hello and welcome to the Digital Architecture YouTube channel. Today we are taking part 2 of creating GDL objects and making live connection with Grasshopper. So in part 1 we learned how we can create an object and we saw how we can make some placement for like type number, position number or placement number, and to make the Grasshopper on and off to enable the Grasshopper live connection. That will be in this parameter. Most important that the variable name should be param control by Grasshopper, and this will be a boolean type. If you want to hide this from the setting in GDL script or GDL object, you can just click this X, red X, and it will be hidden. I need to save it, of course, Control S. Now if I open the setting, I will see there is no options to see it, or the option is there but it's not seen, it's hidden. So now we learned how we can create the text and make the size of this font, the type of this font, and to get this text that's showing us the type. Now we will go to the 3D view and we will see how we can control the material. As you see here, those objects, we have a building material parameter, but it's not working because we changed this object to just a brick, but we haven't added any information on which is this building material type. So to do this, we need to add it like the font. We added this define style. For 3D object there is something similar, it's called building material. If you go to help, as we know, it is a reference guide, the best way to check your coding in this script, and we search for building material. See it right here, click it, it's a part of set, and we see it's building materials example. We have building material index, then the cut fill bin and the cut fill background bin. So we can change the material, and if the material is cutted, what will be the fill of this cut. But of course we can leave it to default. What we need to change is this building material index to be the same as the parameter ID in the options or the parameters options here. We see this building material attribute, it's type material, and here we get the ID of those materials. By default we can make it like a glass type of material, which will be right here, that number 45. So we go to the 3D view and we check this building material. We can copy it or we can write it from first, but of course we need to write before set. It's a part of set to set this material to the next object. So building material, we take the parameter name from here, building material type, and we post it right here. For the cut, we leave it both default, and now it's set to this parameter. We save it. If we go to 3D view, now we see this material is changing depending on this building material. So working now, I have my 3D view and 2D view ready to control from Grasshopper. So we open Rhino Grasshopper right here. And first thing, of course, we need to start the connection. Let's start this connection. I have this new unnamed file. It should connect to it. If it's like no, let's start by adding some points, or like a series of points. Now it's connected to unnamed. And now from here, you will just make a series of points that will add our objects. But first let's go to object setting and we'll create from design object. So the object component will need a point to insert those objects. We can remove those here now, and need the setting, or don't need the setting, but setting we need it to control this object. So we right click here, and instead of creating a new library part which will need a geometry, we will use an existing library part. We make this option. Now we go right click, select Archicad library part, and now it load all the libraries part for all the objects from the Archicad, and now we can check here we have every object in Archicad, but of course we will use our own object in the embedded library, and we find it class panel. Now if we select it, it will be in the setting, and I can plug in the setting to be this object. If I don't have the setting enabled, Archicad will use the last object I used, which will be actually the library part. But we need the setting to add the variable. We see now we can add every variable we need to control it. So we can like add the dimension and the height. Sometimes Archicad crash if the names are long or short or something. Sometimes don't work, like I have in the lesson before. The Archicad or Grasshopper crashed every time I added the placement, which was position. So I changed it to placement or place. Now it should be working. Now yes, I have every parameter to control. So I have a little bit more parameters than I need, but it's okay, we can try them all. So we got the setting here, and we have those points that just plug in into B. And now you see multiple objects in 2D and 3D, which is nice. Now from here I can make some changes. If I go to the ground floor, I don't need to make this type different and maybe connect to different materials. So to the building material, you will need a building material. I can get from here building is materials and make like two types of materials. Let's select one is glass. The other I can create like a glass with another name, not Grasshopper or Rhino crashed. Start. So sometimes the live connection will be crashing if you didn't let him take enough time to load some materials or options from Archicad, so it will crash Rhino. No, it will be not that good. Always remember to save your file and to be patient. So now I get some materials like glass, maybe I get another material like aluminium, and now we can try to make some alternatives. So if I make some random values, let's say depending on this list length, get some random values, 10 values. Let's make them integer numbers, 0 or 1. We can make like where is it in set, like a dispatch item. If it's work, we have this list, or maybe we can choose, sorry, we have this list from 0 and 1. This is 0, this is 1. So it didn't work, we need to duplicate those to get enough numbers, like 10 from each. So not random, duplicate, maybe rabbits. So data to duplicate, number of copies 10, and this is 0, and here we change that this is 1. Now I get some random aluminum and glass and can plug it to building material. Now we see I get some random materials here. Of course I can change to the seed, get different values, and of course if I need more materials I can make this more and get more integer number from this range from 0 to 3 or 4. This is one way to make some randoms. Also I can say to add the position of each element. For example, that will be here in placement or position. So I can take this point or this series I have from 0 to 9. This will be actually the position. Let's take this as number, and this is my placement. Now it's here. Now if I select each one of those, I will see this is placement 1, this is 2, and so on. And of course, if I want to show this in the 2D view, instead of showing type, I can show the place. So let's placement, let's name this POS position, Control S. We go to ground floor, we see the position of each one. And if we want to make this multiple stories, let's say if you organize this a little bit here, remember this is for the material. Let's say we need to make a copy in the Z direction. So we have the series. We can add some Z points by making, let's do it by another series. If I make a graph in Z and I have this here, I have 10 more copies, but of course I'll make another series. Let's make the height 3 meters, like one floor to here, and let's make the size of my elements, the height 3 also. Now I have 10 copies, but I have only 2 stories, so let's make the number of counts are 3 or 2, 0, 1 and 2. Now I get 3 stories. Well, actually this is not a range, so like this. So the thing is, with the Archicad live connection, it will add automatically the story to us. Now if we check this here, it will be home story ground floor, this one here story first floor, because we have first floor already here, and the second story is the element there. Now to add the position in the right way, because we are getting only those here, we need to make some number placement from 0 to 1, but let's say every story will add 100, so it's like 0 to 1 from here, and from 100 to 199 here, 200, etc. So to do this we can make some multiplication, and so to do this I will add some numbers to it, and it will be, let's make it manual. First one will be 0, then 100, then 200, and those numbers will be added here. Of course, don't forget to make multi-line data. If you don't know, we use this to make a tree, and now we add every number to every number from here by making this in graph. Now those 3 numbers will be added 3 times to those lists, and I will get first list from 0 to 9, then from 100 0, or from 100 to 109, and from 200 to 109. This is the fastest way to get those stories aligned well. And if because everything here is flattened, but here is graphed, so it's right. If I plug this like this here, now if I go to the floor plan, those are from 0 to 9, and here from 100 to 109, working correctly, and here also working correctly. You see how useful this is when we have Grasshopper in our hand with Archicad to make such numbers. Of course, don't forget you can use those to get the information in the lists in Archicad. So nice. Of course, if we want to make here the random better, we need to make this flatten. Let's check this here. I have 30 numbers, and I'm plugging here 30 numbers to change the seed. I'm getting some randoms. It's repeating some, which is, maybe if I make this flat, my points also, actually, yeah, so if everything is sorted in lists, so it will sort everything also in lists. we need to make our decision even to make everything flatten at the end or to make everything in lists. Because this should not change our story because they are already flattened, which is nice. Now I have this pattern as I want and this options. So I'll make something extra and show you we can make the type as a color. We can actually make this color type as type number by adding 1. Now +1, we can have type 1 or type 2. So type 1 maybe which is 0 is the glass, and type 2 is the material. So if I can select this one here, I'll see I have the information of type 1, and this here should be type 2. Right. You can also make a statement in the 3D, and I can select the color directly from here. So if I make a new, let's make a building attribute number 2 and make material and select from here as default the aluminum panel, which is right here. Let's call this building material 2. Now if I go to 3D, I can say, as I have the type number here, Ctrl C, I can say if type equal 1, then show me this, and if, and I can make the same, if type equal 2, then show me the building material attribute 2. Save it now. Now I don't need to play with the materials here. I can cancel this, or I can give them all one material, building material 1, all glass. If I go to this setting here, I see it's building material 2. Let's check parameters. I have 1 or 2, I need to Ctrl S. So if I make, let's check it here. I have my glass panel, I have my glass and aluminium as building material 1 and 2. So if type is 1, it will be glass. If type is 2, it will be aluminium. So with this way, I don't need to connect my building material anymore. I can just disconnect it, and I can just here change the randomness. So if I make some randomness here, it will change the type coming here, which will change the material. So I have one less information to transfer to Archicad, which is very useful to spare some time, especially if you have like 1,000 of those. So I have some one project which I used this. I have like 500 pieces of this profile glass, and this was the best way to make it. And of course we see the information in the ground floor, and of course we make tables. So now we can actually, instead of typing the type, we can say show me the position, show me the type. Now it makes more sense, missing ground floor, which type those elements are. Of course we can make in 2D some filament and change the color of it. We can search that in the GDL scripting components, and we'll see how we can do it so easily. So this was an introduction to making GDL script objects in Archicad and how we can control them in Grasshopper. I find this opened many doors in the design and architecture industry, and how you can actually make the workspace between Grasshopper and Archicad much more useful and fast if you compare that to Dynamo and Revit. I hope you like this lesson. If you want more information about GDL scripting, don't forget to like the video and make comment about what you want to see more from our channel. I'll be there also if you have any question. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next lessons. See you.